Good morning, everyone. Today, I'll give you a gentle introduction on PowerPoint and presentations. So, a PowerPoint presentation consists of slides. Why do we use the slides in our presentation? This will help us visualize what we want to talk about. So, it's a visual aid for our presentation. It would help me as a presenter talk about certain points so I don't forget them. They are pointed out on my slides. It would help also the audience to keep track of what I'm saying, and I can add, for example, elements to my presentation like graphics or tables. This would also support my presentation. Now, how do I create a PowerPoint presentation? Well, I can create it from scratch, or I can download an existing PowerPoint presentation, edit it, make changes to it, or I can use a template by going to File, New, and then I can choose from any of these templates. Now let's start from scratch. Imagine I want to add slides to my presentation. How would I do this? Under the Home tab, I would go to New Slide. I would insert the kind of slide that I want. I can choose blank, I can choose one with 2 contents, whatever you want. And then later, at any time, if you decide you want to change the layout of any of these slides, you can simply choose it, go to layout, and then change it to the layout that you want. So imagine I want it to be like this now. Now, things that you can do with a slide is that you can right-click on it, you can duplicate it, copy it, you can delete the slide, and you can hide the slide. You can hide the slide by clicking on Hide the Slide. And once you click on Hide the Slide, this slide is not going to be shown to the audience. You can see it here on the presentation, but you can see that there is kind of like a strike or a line crossing number 3 here. It means this slide is not shown in my presentation, but it exists here. Maybe later or in another presentation, I need this slide, so I am going to unhide it. So to unhide it, you can just simply right-click and then click on Hide Slide again, and it is going to be shown. All the other tools you must be familiar with, like changing the font, paragraph settings, adding shapes, etc. So going to the other tab, which is the Insert tab, what things can I insert in my presentation or in my slides? I can insert tables, I can insert pictures from online source, from a screenshot, from a photo album. I can insert shapes, icons, charts, smart art. Now, inserting charts, instead of going to Excel and then opening Excel, inserting your data and adding the graph, you can simply just click here. This is a shortcut. Click here, choose the type of graph that you want, click OK. Then you're going to see that Microsoft opens up for you, Microsoft Excel, so you can enter your data, and when you're done, it is going to be reflected on your chart. Okay. Going back to the insert, what other things I can insert? Well, I can insert what we call an action. What is an action? An action is a doing, something that's going to happen when I click on a certain object on my slides. So for example, let's go to this slide and let's add a picture to it. So let me just get rid of this and go to Insert. I want to insert a picture from an online source, so I can search for whatever I want. Let's say I'm going to pick up, let's say an apple. And when I click on this apple and insert it, what I want to happen is that it goes to a certain website. So let's just make it smaller. And you can see whenever I add an element, we have design ideas showing up here. So you can choose the design that you want, the design that you like. You can access the design as well by going to the Design tab and then clicking on Design Ideas. All right, let's go back to Insert. Now we said we want to add an action to this. Whenever I click on it, it makes an action for me. It does something. So I'm going to click on Action, And here I've got two options. Upon mouse click, it means when I click on the picture, or about on mouse over, when I just put the mouse over the picture, what's going to happen? By default, it says none, nothing is going to happen, but I can hyperlink it to a certain action. When I click on this picture, I can go to the next slide. I can advance to the next slide. I can go to the previous slide. I can end my show. I can go to a certain URL. I can go to a certain website. So also I can open a certain file.